Hi guys and good morning. Welcome once again to another episode here on the Baby Girls YouTube channel. This is Becca, registered nurse based in the United Kingdom. Drive with me to Peterborough whilst I tell you why I left my band 8A nursing job without a plan B. This is just a follow-up to my last two videos. Thank you so much, first of all, for those of you who took time to watch the videos and drop beautiful comments. I do really appreciate. On the other hand, I saw some people writing that I should have stayed in that job. I shouldn't have left. Please do not tell anybody to stay in certain environments, my darling. It is not worth it. One thing I always say is that I don't care losing my job. But one thing I wouldn't do is to lose my license to practice, because that's the only thing that is holding me down as a skilled worker in the UK. Most of the times we don't talk about how difficult it is to be an immigrant under sponsorship. I mean, it's difficult to be an immigrant in the UK, but it is extremely difficult to be an immigrant under sponsorship because of the multiple restrictions that you are on that prevents you from being able to navigate. And some employers use this as a power or tool to sometimes destroy you as a person. And so I'm going to Peterborough today to do a biometric for the 5th time. I'm almost 5 years of being in the UK. And honestly, I didn't want to change VRP again, but honestly, it is what it is. In this video also, I'll be talking about what I did when I wanted to leave my job. I'll talk about Grievance. I'll talk about some new changes to UK VI, biometric submission, and a bit more in details in the video. So please do stick around and watch this video right until the end. So today is a beautiful Friday. Woke up quite early and got myself ready to go to Peterborough. I chose Peterborough to submit my biometric resident fingerprints because I couldn't get appointment anywhere in and around London due to, I think, the influx of visa applications, and also because UKVI has changed its biometric submission center or portal. So I just stopped by at McDonald's in Peterborough to grab breakfast because I didn't have good sleep, and I've been out of employment from August. I think from the 22nd of August was the last time I was in active employment. In between the time that I was off sick, I resigned. Currently, I am doing absolutely well. You see the relief I had after resigning. The relief I had after leaving this job. Praise Jesus. I am so excited about the progress and how it's been so far. So as at the time I was resigning, I wrote my resignation on the 18th, and I shot that video I posted, which I'm going to put the thumbnail here. As at that time, I didn't have a plan B. And after that time, honestly, I just took time off to, settle in, got better, and then started to go on the job market again, to look for a job. God was so good to me. I don't even know how to put it. God was good to me. I was looking for other alternatives, to settle in the UK and not go to look for sponsorship. But honestly, those routes were going to be longer when I did my inquiry. So the best option I had at this point was to go back, to getting a skilled worker visa, get a CUS and apply. So that is exactly what I did. I went on a job market. I threw my CV on the system everywhere. Recruiters reached out to me. I did 5 interviews back to back in a week. I had 5 job offers the week after, and then I selected the job I wanted out of that 5. Initially, because I wasn't really sure which one I wanted, but I just went with the flow and I chose one of the 5. And I considered a lot of things before choosing this, because of proximity, because of family. Like a whole lot of thinking went into choosing. And I know that very soon I'll get my settlement in the UK and I'll have that liberty, that freedom. Honestly, I can't wait. So my heart really goes out to every immigrant that is under sponsorship, that is trying to navigate in the UK. It is hard. I feel you guys, and I've got you from the comments, from your reactions in the comment section. Honestly, guys, I feel each and everybody. But one thing I would like to tell you is that do not settle in toxicity that will affect your life. It's not worth it. Keep pushing until you get there and do not give up. So this is me at Peterborough UKVI. I got there 15 minutes to my time. I dropped by, as I said before, McDonald's to get breakfast. So I sat here and I was called to come in to do my biometrics. It was very seamless. It took about 5 minutes, to do everything, scan the passport, scan my BRP, and scan obviously my NMC statement of entry. So I've just decided to go back again to get another nursing job just to keep, the visa running. And so, yes, I did my BRP today. Finished heading towards my car. I forgot to do my makeup. I wanted to wear makeup for this appointment, but for some reason, I was nearly late, so I forgot to wear my makeup, guys. But the face card never declines. So yeah, the face card never declines. Oh God. This is the 5th time I'm doing BRP in almost 5 years. 5th time. Hey. Just share a little bit of my experience with you just to encourage somebody out there. So this is the shortest employment I have ever been in. This job I was in for 5 months and 2 weeks. Out of the 5 months and 2 weeks, 6 weeks out of this, I didn't work. Yes. And I think I've shared the story already. Although I didn't go much into details, there is a lot more I didn't talk about. And I was given that, how do we call it? They gave me like a window. Yeah. They gave me like a window to decide whether I was really wanting to resign, because I raised a grievance and I wrote how unhappy I was and things that has happened in the workplace. I put everything in writing because I had evidence, palpable evidence. And this was not like I was just talking. These were evidences that were palpable. So this is my grievance letter. Hi, Sasaso, and good morning. Many thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to send me an email to remind me about my absence from work. It is appreciated. I want to point out a series of occurrences that has led to me not being able to attend to my duty as I should, which is something I've never done in my entire practice, and why I'm seeking transfer out of so, just so that you know, because I don't want to be misinterpreted as a non-trustworthy person or someone who has just vacated post and been threatened to be referred to NMC for breaching code of conduct, as I have already received. I commenced work in so on the 1st of May 2024. During my interview in January 30th, 2024, by the city manager, she made it clear that I was going to work 3 long days, which is 37.5 hours as per my contract, which I agreed. On commencing work on the 1st of May, I was told by a different manager I was going to be working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, until further notice. This greatly affected my family dynamics, as it wasn't what was discussed in my interview, which I raised a concern about. Shortly after, 2 managers stepped down. They resigned, leaving me alone in the building, being the only person in management without proper orientation or induction. I was forced to be on call 24/7 just to make sure that was running. I have since been covering shifts both day and night and remained on call, which I was not paid for. Till today, I don't have a clear shift pattern to enable me to balance in between my work and life. Now, when I went for the interview, they'll post the job advert, they'll tell you there is great work and life balance in this place. This is going to be your shift pattern, your schedule, which is what was in my contract. It was stated in my contract as well. But unfortunately, when I started working, none of this was on it. I didn't have a rota, I didn't have a schedule. I mean, I'm not here doing this video to point blame to anybody, but I'm just telling you that if there is something that happens at your workplace, please do raise a grievance. Put it in writing. Even if it is not acknowledged, the fact that you have raised it to whoever it concerns is an evidence that can help you in future, so that they don't accuse you of something. Fast forward, other members of the company were introduced to support the home. During this period, there have been times I have been accused of. So this one, I have, I don't want to talk about it. Honestly, I talked about the things that I have been accused of, some threatening warnings and messages that have been sent to me, some in email, some face to face, some on WhatsApp messages, bullying of other staff, not just myself as the person in management, even the junior staff. These people were just bullying some of them. And by the time I reported to RCN, which I did, I reported to RCN. At the time I reported to RCN, which was, I've forgotten the month, but already three people had already reported this same place of work to RCN. Yeah, I don't really know what steps RCN is taking or has taken with regards to this, but at least I know that it is, being raised. So let's go on reading. Nurses were being disrespected openly, and when this was raised, it was said that they were not good enough. I have been signed off for trainings that I have not had. So what happened was that there were some trainings that nobody trained me for. Do you get? But I was issued certificate for them, and I didn't realize it until last minute. Okay, and honestly, it's not even funny. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. So I wrote that I have been signed up for trainings and I have evidences for all of these. So after I released this, it was like a bombshell. Everywhere went chaos and they saw that trouble could come. Honestly, my purpose for this grievance was not to raise trouble, it was just to buy me time to free myself, to move on, and also seek closure because I was not fairly treated. I really wanted closure. But I decided to take myself out of the picture. So I went forward to say, I have been deeply concerned about my practice and decision to work in so, and realized I am not fit for the place. And I don't want to risk losing my license that I have worked hard for because of false accusations. You know something, yeah? If somebody doesn't like you, they don't care going the extra mile, putting you in trouble. They don't care saying something about you, especially if it's not just one person who doesn't like you. If it is a connection, okay? If it is a connection, one thing that we have been, or let's say I have been trained with growing up is just, I think this thing really affects us, is just to keep quiet, do not talk. Even when somebody is doing something against you, one thing I thank God for is that what this person was doing, I wasn't the only person who realized, or what these people were doing, I wasn't the only person who realized. Other people also saw it. For me, my main concern was my pain, my mental health, my physical health, most especially my family orientation, because I didn't want anything to happen to me, for me to, be so, I don't know, but for me to be in the trouble that will cause my family. Do you get? So those that were saying in the video that you should have stayed a bit longer, and also some people were saying in the comments that, I think somebody said that if you had stayed a bit to get to know the policy of the company, I think it would have been better. The policy of the company I knew what actually was saved me. Yeah, because I knew the policies and I applied it. Okay, so I went forward to say I don't want to risk losing my license I've worked hard for because of false accusations. So I decided to step back to being an RGN. So I wanted to come down from management and go to just be a nurse. And I wanted to seek transfer to another home which was local to me, which was the same company. That other place was happy to accept me, but somebody went behind to to spoil everything. I don't know how they did that, but I lost contact with this other place that wanted to, take me from that location where I was. Yeah, with the excuse that I was under sponsorship. I have been reminded over and over of my sponsorship, which I paid for out of pocket and I wasn't refunded for, because in my contract it was stated that if I pay for my visa application was going to be refunded to me when I started working. This didn't happen. I raised it once and twice, and I stopped following up on it because I just felt like, £284 is no money. Let me just, keep quiet and go ahead with it. But other people were paid. And I knew this because I was the one managing them. So I knew they had been paid for it. For whatever reason, I wasn't paid. I didn't know. So there was palpable discrimination, there was palpable bullying, there was palpable harassment, which the company's policy had clearly explained what it was in their policy. And this is what made me know that, all of these things were happening to me. Meanwhile, I contacted Home Office personally, and Home Office told me that there was no immigration law as such that restricts you from seeking transfer within the same company. So they made it look like because I'm under sponsorship, I can't leave that particular location to go to another locations. Like for example, if it's NHS, yeah, and NHS has got a lot of sites or a lot of the same trust but different sites, there is no way they can stop you from leaving one trust to another. Because I don't want to look miserable and unhappy at work, I asked for leave without pay, which was initially what I did. I didn't want to go off sick because I felt it was going to spoil my record. I was going to look like a sick person. Meanwhile, I knew I needed help. So I asked for leave without pay. Nobody bothered to ask me what was wrong with me. All I received was a message saying how I was going to report it to Home Office and to the NMC for my absence when my employer has clearly failed to comply by the first step of AWOL policy, which is to offer support to their employees. I have been in great distress working in such a toxic environment. My mental health has gone down the gutters with my whole sleep pattern greatly affected. I am now a very anxious person with panic attack and chest pains for 2 months now, which is something I've never experienced before. So I knew the AWOL policy, and part of the policy documents, the first step is that if your employer is away from work and you can't make contact with them, you should first try and make contact with them via all means. They were trying to make it look like I have just left work and nobody could make contact with me. That is how they made it look. That is how they made it look. Listen to me. Nobody honestly care about you. So safeguard yourself. It is your duty to look after yourself first, okay? I thank God for supportive family. Otherwise, I don't know what my mental health would have been like. I have been in and out of GP surgery and urgent care due to chest pain and sleeplessness. Now I am on medication, which is enabling me to sleep a bit better. Overall, this is not what I applied for, to be bullied at work and accused for certain things I wrote. The break I took has really improved my mental health significantly. I'll be seeing my GP again tomorrow and on Monday to see if there's anything else they would want to investigate with regards to my current medical state. I'll not be able to look after vulnerable adults if I am not okay myself. I was quite firm on my decision not to go back to work until I was okay, not just because I wanted to make a point, but because honestly, somebody who is not sleeping, I don't sleep. I do not sleep. I am a zombie. You expect me to come to work to look after vulnerable people, to raise safeguardings, to do root cause analysis, to supervise staff, to do their job well. For me, that was not possible. I had to look after myself first, which is my primary responsibility. It will be a great joy for me to work again with the passion and positive energy I always carry. I hope I will be back on or before the 9th when I've completed my trial medication. But if I am unable to, I'll keep you updated. Thank you once again for taking your time to email me. It is much appreciated. Kind regards. Honestly, as at the time I was writing this email, I wrote this on the 5th of September. My aim was to just take medication. So GP gave me sleep medication, basically an anxiolytic, something to because my heart was racing. So something to control my heart and help me to sleep. I didn't take antidepressant because honestly, I don't feel I was depressed. Shout outs to my GP. There are 2 GPs actually that looked after me. They did an incredible job. They even opened my eye and told me that you are being bullied, you are being threatened, because I opened up to my GP and told them this is what is happening. So my GP was like, oh no, This is not acceptable. You are being bullied. You need to leave, or you need to do something about it. You need to report. You need to do this. So they gave me that guidance. And that was what gave me some kind of strength to know what to do. And I know that if it's somebody else, they would have said, let's go to court or let's drag this. But I wasn't ready for any of those drama, honestly. Like, I just want to be a girl. I just want to be a girl and work. Do you get? That is why I came to this country, not to go and drag anybody, not to go to court, not to go, and that is unnecessary for me. Because somebody, I think I saw this girl that sued her company and she won, and they compensated her over £40,000 because she had a case. I had a case, honestly. Like, people were pushing me, go legal, take it legal. But honestly, I just want to be a girl. I don't have energy for I don't have energy for certain things, honestly. So I escalated it, I wrote my grievance, how unhappy I was. And I had evidence. I had a case, okay? So what happened after that, I don't want to go much into details, but then I had a new manager at that time, a new line manager, who gave me like that open window to really think of my decision to resign. We had like a closed door meeting, a one-to-one meeting, asking me my plans. It's a long one, honestly. But because I was bent to resign and I didn't want nothing to change my mind. And I know somebody will be like, oh, you should have gone to give it a try. I honestly thought of that, going back to give it a try. But I prayed about it and I realized that my job there was done. Sometimes God just takes you to a place just for a purpose. When that purpose is finished, you just have to seek God's face for the other, or for the next step to take. So my purpose there was finished. And I'll say that I have set a track record, which whenever I look back, I am so proud of myself. Honestly, I don't even know how I did it, but I am so proud of myself. But this black girl right here is so proud of herself. So proud of herself. And it has opened a lot of doors for me. I had a lot of good offers. Some of them required me to relocate. I had one in Manchester, which was a very good package. But relocation, when you have family in this UK, relocation, Anyway, so I weighed the pros and cons of relocating. My daughter, my first one, is in high school. She's got a really, really good high school. And I felt like my kids were a bit more stable where they were. So I had to sacrifice. So I chose something that was a bit local to me. We went through, the process. I got 5 job offers. In fact, I accepted all the 5. Saying this now, I feel really, really bad. I accepted all the 5 because at that time, honestly, I was confused. I didn't know what to do. So I accepted all the 5 job offers. And then later on, I was able to sift through and weigh which one was going to work for me. And then I went with it. I chose that one. They gave me COS almost immediately. Went through the referencing, and then for the referencing, I'm sure somebody will ask, how did I go about my referencing? So I took an employment letter. I didn't want anybody to reference me, and I'm being honest with that. I didn't want anybody to reference me because at this point I have trust issues. Even the nicest person, I don't want anybody to reference me. So I took an employment letter from my HR, and I used that employment letter as a reference to show that I have worked there. Obviously, the employment letter has got details, so if they want to authenticate the reference, they would have to, call the company and sort that out by themselves. So we went through the referencing phase. I dropped the other 4 job offers and I went with this particular one. They gave me COS almost immediately, but this was the deal. I told them that I wanted a career break. I don't want to work like immediately. I just wanted time to ease off, and I want to start work next year. So they agreed and they pushed my COS back so that it's in such a way that I can start working next year, actually. Because on the COS, that you have to write a start date for the employment. So they pushed it to the next year, which gives me the chance to, just be home, which is what I wanted. Honestly, I just want to have some break. Since I started working as a nurse, this is the time I'm going to have a break, and I've had a break. So it gives me the opportunity to do whatever I want. And just for the context, if you are on tier 2, you know that you still got 20 hours to work, and you can do the 20 hours with any employer that is on the shortage occupation list, not just the employment that you came to UK with. Okay, so yeah, once you make an application, you still have the legal right to live in the UK until the date on that old BRP expires. Yeah, so you just have to know the rules and apply it. Yeah, you just have to know the rules and apply it. I resigned and went back to do my notice period, which was supposed to be 4 weeks, but obviously because I was off sick, it waived away some of the time. And then when I went back, by the time I went back, I was almost finishing my notice period safe. So I just wrapped up the bits and pieces that I needed to do. Obviously the new manager I was talking about gave me, she tried to keep me. So she gave me options that would take me away from that situation that I was in. But as I said, I just didn't see myself having to, I don't know, but I just didn't want to be there, and that is the honest truth. And then later, after I finished my notice period and I was home, was when I got my COS. So I got my COS, applied for the visa, and now UK VAS is changed their visa submission center. So at first it was, is this Sephora, or I'll put the name on the screen, but now it is TLS. So you are not you are going to now submit your visa application and biometrics to TLS. And I couldn't get an appointment close to me, so I had to drive all the way to Peterborough, which was the closest appointment. But yeah, I didn't pay for priority. I paid for standard, which is £284, and I have just come to do my biometrics, and I'm going to go home. This COS is just to cover me for the few months left, obviously, before I apply for my UK settlement, because I'm nearly there. Do you get? I'm nearly there. And honestly, on the day I get my ILR, if you see me screaming my lungs out, don't think that I'm doing too much, because the Shege Pro Max in this 5 years of UK is not even something I can deny, honestly. But yeah, so UK VAS has changed their visa submission center, so it's now with the TLS. I think somebody will ask, do you have to change visa with your family every time you change? I think I've explained this before in one of my videos. You don't have to change visa with your family every time. No, it's going to be a long drive back home. Hopefully there's no traffic on the way, but I'll leave you guys here. Thank you guys so much for watching, for constantly coming back to the channel, and until we meet again in my next video, it's